Are you comfortable with that name, the logo? Have you come around on that or what?
I've heard it. I don't know if comfort's the right one, but it's if it sticks, I guess I can't say anything about it in a bad way. But it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see that silhouette all around the course. It's been fun.
It should be, man. You hit a 72-footer to win the Canadian Open. The least they can do is have that picture humming around this place. Go ahead, O.
Nick, how was it out there today? Just talk about the course, the conditions, and basically your thoughts on it. How'd it go?
The challenge today, it was a bit of rain on and off, but the greens were quite receptive and soft. So when you had wedges in, they're backing up 15, 20 feet. And so some of the back pins, it made it quite tricky because you don't really want to try to flirt with, landing it in the back fringe and spinning it back. So either you're taking a little something off, an extra club, or trying to control the spin somehow. So that was probably the most difficult part of the approach game. And then, with a bit of the rain, the rough was thick if you got into that. So overall, obviously the scores are pretty good. It looks like since the rain went away, there's some lower ones this afternoon, but there's probably 4 or 5, pretty good par fours that you're happy to walk away with par, and then there's other holes you're trying to attack. So there's a good mix, but definitely some birdies out there.
With Nick Taylor, he was 4 under on his opening round today, RBC Canadian Open. We're out here at TPC Toronto, and this is a new course for the Open, and it's a new course for the PGA Tour. How much of a change is that for pro players? Where a lot of times you guys are going to courses that you're familiar with. How does it adjust or possibly force you to adjust your preparation and maybe the way you kind of ease into a tournament when you're playing a new course?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's definitely a little more prep work when you come to a new spot. I hadn't stepped on the grounds until Monday, so I went out Monday morning, got to see the front nine, and did as much homework as I could. Wednesday was the second, nine that I saw, and Dave, my caddy, is obviously takes a lot of that responsibility of studying the course. He'd been out here actually a couple times before this week, but just trying to get a feel of the greens. What are the best places to miss the greens if you're coming in there? Best places to putt from. And then the biggest thing coming to a new golf course is usually just sight lines off the tee. What's the best aiming point? It changed a bit today because the ball wasn't running as much in the fairways compared to the practice days. But as hopefully the rain stays away the next few days, but as that comes, it's going to be, more important to have a good kind of center line on some of those blind tee shots to make sure you don't kind of run through into the rough. That's kind of what you're trying to learn when you come to a new spot.
Are you embracing the Canadian fans, all of that type of stuff? You feel a little extra juice from them?
Yeah, it was great. I felt like as the day went on, when the rain kind of subsided, more people were showing up. It probably helped that Roy was behind us too, so they could watch a couple of back-to-back groups. But I felt like by that back nine, we had a good following, and that's when we kind of all started making some birdies and feeding off each other. So the vibe was a lot of fun today, and I'm hoping tomorrow, obviously, with a little better weather in the afternoon, could be buzzing with us making a few birdies. It'll be fun.
With Nick Taylor, again, he was 4 under today, and you were out there with Mackenzie Hughes and Taylor Pendrith, and Pendrith was 5 under. And you mentioned that, like, kind of the rallying. It's obviously an individual sport, but you're all close. We had Mac on FaceTime. You were driving him around wherever you guys were a couple of days ago. You're with each other all the time. Pendrith's a great guy. Again, we were meeting with him and talking with him yesterday. Does it feel different when you're with, all the Canadians? When you're in a group of 3 and it's Canadians and you know each other and you know that the crowd is supporting you, even though you're out there golfing your own ball, you're putting down your own score. Is there something about the energy that feels different when you're playing with 2 other Canadians?
Yeah, I think it's just a little more relaxed. It's a lot of fun. We play practice rounds together constantly, so the comfort level couldn't be any higher. All 3 players, all 3 caddies are Canadian, so we just have that vibe, and we've known each other for a long time, so it's comfortable. It doesn't really necessarily mean that you're going to play well, but I think it certainly helps. And then today, when we kind of got on a run, all of us were kind of feeding off each other, so it was fun. But again, we do it so often, it was just very comfortable.
So Nick, what's the approach after round 1? I mean, you guys were all solid today. Are you just like, you're not thinking of a number tomorrow? Are you just like full pedal on the gas and let's just see what happens and get as low as we can, and we're going to be in a good spot on the weekend? Like, when you have a solid round, what's the approach to the next one?
Yeah, it's to, like you said, keep the pedal down. I think, like I said, I think the scores look like they're going to be pretty low this afternoon with it warming up a little bit and no rain. So, you got to assume that tomorrow morning, if that continues, we're going to have to put a good round together to stay near in the lead. So, yeah, I think pedal down, keep chasing those birdies, with obviously the right strategy. But, if you try to sit back on your heels after a good start, usually not very good things happen. So keep chasing and, get ready for Saturday.
Does it help to go early, late from that standpoint, that you guys will be going out in the afternoon tomorrow and you'll have an idea of what that number might be and kind of where you stand going into the weekend? Does that affect your mentality at all when you tee off?
A little bit, I think. My guess is the leader after tomorrow morning is probably going to be at least 10 under. So you kind of always have a number in your mind just after maybe playing one round. We'll get a good idea, but once you see it, you kind of put it in the back and forget about it and just try to play golf. There's no need trying to go through the holes, trying to figure out where you're going to make your birdies. Just let things happen. This is a course definitely that there's birdies out there, but you got to be patient with some of the longer holes. So it'll be good to know what's going on, but also forget about it and just go play golf.